Yo, what up, y'all? What's going on, man? What's going on with everybody, man? Hope that everybody tuned in. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to Fans Point of View. You know what I'm saying? Host Trucking Chubby, man. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like, share, subscribe button, and all that goodish. As y'all can see, I got Miami and Ole Miss pulled up. Shout out to Miami for the victory. Big win. Um, I mean, we all watched the game. It's not like anybody missed this game last night, right? So I formed my own opinion on it, right? And simply, I want to put this to the penalties and the time of possession, right? That's what I want to look at in this game because, right, we seen Miami claw back, get into the playoffs barely, underdog, number 10 seed coming in to the playoffs. Then they take on an SEC top team and Texas A&M. Well, I don't care what nobody has to say. Texas A&M, they lost late on to Texas in a rivalry game, but they've been hot all season. So despite what you want to say, despite anything else, they were a top team at the moment. Going into the playoffs, they were one of the hottest teams, right? Before when that was made. Can't deny that. Miami takes them out. Boom. They get that settled. Then Miami goes to take on another juggernaut in the Big Ten, last year's national champion, a highly favorite to win this year, including myself and everybody, and a lot of other people out there. Miami takes care of business against Ohio State, wins by 10. And they had no penalties in that game. And that's huge because usually when you see games played like this is a game that Miami usually would have probably lost in the regular season. See, I just didn't pay attention to Miami just in the playoffs. I watched every football game that I can possibly watch in college football. Every last one, a single game that I could possibly watch. If I didn't watch it live, I went back and I watched the full game. The app that I have allows me to do that. I'm not going to shout them out yet because they ain't sponsoring me, period. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk that, you know what I'm saying? Straight up. When they start throwing some bread this way, then I'll shout them out. But I can still watch the games. And I'm talking about the MAC, the American Athletic, whatever. So when I'm talking about these teams, I know a little something to the information I'm giving my viewers and the people that support me. So I appreciate y'all for real. But anyhow, I don't want to go too far off on that. But watching Miami this year, this is a game that they probably would have lost. And look, they've always kept the ball for long, but didn't produce a lot of points throughout the season. You know what I'm saying? The time of possession in this game was 41 minutes and 22 seconds. That's Miami. That's what Miami had, right? Ole Miss had the ball for 18 minutes and 38 seconds. Normally, so the strategy in this game was phenomenal to me. I think that the strategy was great because obviously in 18 minutes and 38 seconds of Ole Miss holding the ball throughout the game, they scored 27 points on Miami's defense. So they did a great job with scouting and coaching this game. You can't deny that, right? Because I mean, look, it's there. The proof's there. Okay. Ole Miss only had they had 4 penalties in this game for 34 yards. Miami had 10 for 74 yards. That's a lot. And they had 1 turnover. You go back and you watch Miami you go back and you look at any other of their games. Well, statistically, we're not. The couple of losses that they did take in they highly penalties killed them, turnovers, and they almost had the ball longer. But they wasn't scoring a lot of points. This is scratching the surface and not scoring a lot of points. But for this to be a semifinal game to go to the national championship and to score 31, I would say that's damn good. But I'm not a coach, so I don't know what a coach might say. A coach might tell you something different. They might say something different on that. But me personally, that's what I think, right? But I always harped on, even after that Ohio State game, 0 penalties. When you got this team playing like that, smart, discipline, and not shooting themselves in the foot, like I think it was number 11. It was it like the third quarter? Was it fourth quarter? I think it was. It may have been. The late hit, like dude was on the ground, like you can't do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was right after y'all was it this corner or I'll just say defensive back because I'm not sure. The defensive back had got kicked out of the game. Now for targeting. And I didn't think that was targeting. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard because he's trying to make a football play um in the heat of a game, and dude is like kind of falling anyway. He has the ball, he's trying to catch the ball, but he's trying to make a good hit on him. And I think that, I don't really think that was targeted. I thought that was some BS. To be honest, that hit was it's crazy. Maybe I'll get it pulled up here in a second. But anyhow, just and it was right after that. So it just seems like, oh, you let your emotions get the best of you. One of your guys get out, and now you want a late hit. Like, that can't happen. You got to play on a very disciplined game, especially with either one of these opponents that you're going to be facing from the Big Ten. It's going to be either Oregon or Indiana. So you can't afford to play an undisciplined game against neither one of those teams, because I tell you what, I still think that Dante Moore is the best quarterback left. I honestly do. That's how I feel, right? And a lot of that has to do with personal things, because it just is. It's more of a personal thing when you say that's the favorite or whatever. But I mean, so you can go statistics wise, mechanics wise, however you want to put it. There's a lot of arguments for Dante Moore. There's arguments for Fernando Mendoza. There's arguments for Carson Beck. I still think Carson Beck's a good quarterback. You know what I mean? But anyway, when you look at the way that Oregon is, the way they play that high-powered offense, and I said this so I can go back and go through my videos and try to make a short out of it or whatever. But people that follow me and they actually watch the videos, they know that I always talked about Oregon and Miami. Those two, I thought that those offenses were the best, right? They got the guys. The Miami got the size, the speed. Oregon has the size, the speed to get it done. So I thought those two offenses were probably going to show up and face. I didn't think Miami was going to make it this far, to be honest with y'all. I got to be honest, but I did think that they was going to beat Ole Miss. I was banking on them to beat Ole Miss. After they proved to me they got, they back on track. Like they look like the Miami team that I talked about earlier this year that I thought that would be 11-1. Honestly. So, hey, kudos to them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're wrong, you're right. But yes, most definitely they proved to me, taking out A&M and Ohio State. Like, yeah, I put the respect on Miami Hurricanes' name for sure. Ain't no problem with me saying that. You did? All right. But anyhow, so they have to, when they play in those teams, they have to go into that game and they cannot shoot themselves in the foot with throwing a pick. We're getting that pick. That pick can't happen, Carson Beck. And the players on Miami Hurricanes team, y'all cannot afford to make dumb mistakes. If you're getting burnt on a play and it could be a touchdown and you pass interference, I'd rather take the pass interference than to hang 6. You know what I'm saying? I dig that. But if you're going to late hit somebody out of bounds, like that can't happen, especially on crucial downs. Like they got to keep their hit and they got to play discipline, because both of those squads are disciplined. Indiana, much more disciplined than Oregon, but Oregon still plays a disciplined game. Their coaches had them on point, and that's going to be a key factor in that game. Believe it or not, it's going to come down to experience, right? I think that, Carson Beck being there and playing for a high caliber team, I don't think that either one of those teams had advantage. I think it just comes down to the coaching and how disciplined the teams are. And I mean, Indiana has proven it over and over and over and again. So just going to have to bring that A game when it comes to that. But we'll see who they play later on once that's all set in stone and who they're actually playing. But I mean, Miami just balled up this game. I mean, I don't want to take nothing from them. I think they said rushing attempts, they had 51. They got 3.7 yards per rush. I just don't feel like it happened that way. I feel like they got much more per rush. I feel like that could be very misleading. I mean, when it came to Miami, because it just didn't seem like they was getting 4 yards per tote. It seemed like that when they wanted to run the ball, it happened at will in this game. Watching it, and they were winning in the trenches. It seemed that way. Ole Miss did come out and they did in the second half. I think they did a better job at adjusting to what Miami was trying to do and whatnot. I mean, it showed. They came back in the second half of the game and whatnot. But I don't know, like, and that's why I love stats. I do. I love stats. I came in here and largely on that because that's part of the game, but also knowing and watching the game and actually seeing what happened to those teams. You know what I'm saying? And what happened, like I don't know. Maybe I could have just gone ahead and just gave that the straightforward, but I would argue that they just did what they wanted to do. Um, it says Ole Miss had 121 rushing yards. They had 21 attempts and they averaged about 5.8. And that was largely because of the 73-yard touchdown that Keywan Lacey had broke on them boys in the first quarter. I heard somebody say that it just didn't seem the same after that or whatever. But to each his own with that, man. I feel like that is very misleading, definitely, because if that 73-yard touchdown don't happen, it's not 5.87. Miami didn't get gashed like that. You feel me? Like they didn't get gashed like that, bro. I thought both quarterbacks played great, man. Shout out to Trinidad Chambliss and Carson Beck. One time for them, man. I thought both of those guys played great, man. Great football game to watch, man. It was a good game. Good game. I thought Trinidad Chambliss did what he was supposed to do in that game. I feel like he put Ole Miss in a position to win that game, and when it came down to it, Ole Miss's defense just didn't show up, and I'm surprised by that because Pete Golden, you know what I'm saying, being a defensive back, having a defensive back history and more of a defensive minded coach. I'm surprised that the defense didn't show up then, but boy, I know it's hard to try to defend that Miami offense. Malachi Tony, he played well. I thought Marion played well. I thought they could have been hit Ole Miss deep in that game. Me watching that game, I'm like, Ole Miss is about to have a long day. If Carson Beck, and let's get it, if he connects on some of them deep balls, with Miami, give him a little bit more of a chance. It's lights out. It's lights out. Even when he missed Malachi Tony on I think what you want to say, a skinny post or however you want to put that. Look, Marion was open too over the top. Like they could not guard Miami's receivers deep. It just didn't seem like they could. I think they could have stretched the field a lot better. I think they could have ran up the score. To be honest, they could have scored a lot more points with that deep ball, and largely because you have to respect the box of Fletcher and Brown running the ball. You got to respect Fletcher. Mark Fletcher's a monster, man. He really is, man. Untamed. You can't tame him. And I thought that Trinidad Chambliss did a good job with really becoming one-dimensional because it seems like Miami came out in that second half and they was ready to adjust to what Ole Miss did, and they adjusted to what they were doing. And Keywan Lacey was, he was getting his 2-3 yards and in a cloud of dust or whatever, and he came out like that. So I thought that they did a good job with adjusting to that. Miami did, and Trinidad Chambliss pretty much had to put the game on his back and on his shoulders, and he did. And Charlie Weis caught a phenomenal game. Well, once again, dude he's really the guru. Like, I don't think it's going to be hard to really sit there and say that, Charlie Weis ain't him, bro, because he is. And the thing is, we all look at Carson Beck as a pocket passer. We all look at him as pocket passer, but the one thing everybody forgets is all quarterbacks are athletic enough. All quarterbacks nowadays are athletic enough. When you're that close to the end zone, and no, he's not known to be a runner, and he didn't respect it at all. And that's the end result. Carson Beck running it in and doing y'all like that. And I still think that maybe there's a part of me, just how it was looking to me, that they probably could have ran the ball in with Fletcher. You know what I'm saying? I think that, it could have went that way. A jet sweep with Malachi Tony probably, would have done so. Because you got to respect Fletcher. If Fletcher isn't, you have to respect that. You cannot ignore Fletcher, right? And you got to be ready for Tony's speed. So, I probably would have tried to do that. Just a simple just sweep. Got up there, simple just sweep to him. But I think that it was a good play call, good defense, but nobody, and I mean nobody had contain on the quarterback. Nobody had containment on the quarterback. They didn't. They over pursued. Um, they left a gap there, and that's what happens when you choose left and right instead of just going with your gap assignment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like now it's easy for me to say that watching it. You know what I'm saying? From the TV from the comfort of my home, but it's one thing to be playing in that game, and maybe the defensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? When he was fighting, it was I just made a move to the right last play. Let me make a move to the left. But when you're playing a quarterback like that, you have to keep him contained. You got to keep him contained. If they making a pocket, cool, they making our pocket, but one of us should be able to get to him. And that the gap assignment on that last play by Ole Miss, I can almost guarantee you, they would say that they blew their gap assignment. The defensive lineman blew their gap assignment on that last play with Carson Beck running in the touchdown. I almost guarantee it. I mean, I'm no guru or anything like that, but I mean, just knowing the game and seeing how that pocket looked at the end, it's like wow. And then nobody was there. Nobody was there for him at all. At all. Nobody was. You know, it's just like they just cleared. They just straight up cleared. Had everybody to one side of the field and just left him just unaccounted for. Didn't account for him none whatsoever. Didn't respect him because everybody looks at him like a pocket quarterback, and and you get the end result. What you got now? You know, before I really get move on to the next thing, and I want to talk about the transfer, the SEC in their games, and how the SEC just got beat by Miami. Miami taking out two SEC opponents in the college football playoff, both Texas A&M and now Ole Miss, and they took out Ohio State. They're battle tested. Listen to those three teams: Ole Miss, Ohio State, and Texas A&M. Miami beat all three of those teams. Easily a top 10 AP poll, coaches poll, easily. Arguably a top 5. Because at one point in time, Texas A&M was just that loss to Texas really didn't do them no good because Texas, struggled. I think what they lost to Florida or something. You know what I mean? Like they struggled in the season. But if Texas don't lose those games, nobody's really talking about that. That loss to Texas don't hurt them like that. Texas was one game away from, and I think it was that game that may have kept Texas out. You know what I mean? But and I don't know that to be sure, but obviously they would have been a double-digit team win, 10-win team, and I don't think you can hold a 10-win team Texas out of the college football playoff. I don't know, but we seen crazier things happen. But all I'm getting at here is to say that the SEC once again has lost. That they won't win a national championship, but it's really no big deal, right? Right. You go through these changes, right? It's happened before. The history of college football says so. But nobody still has, and look, I'm on the side where the SEC, I understand a lot about the SEC. I learned, but and how well they get players and everything. But the thing that gets me is the bowl games don't matter, the type of situation. And that's largely SEC cry. They talk about that, and they harp on that so much. A lot of SEC fans talk about how they don't matter. You even got coaches saying they don't matter. Well, if they don't matter, and nobody can never answer that question, if those games don't matter, and I said this, and I'm going to keep saying it because I'm so strong in on this, why have them part of the college football playoffs? Why? Why are these games bowl games inside of the college football playoff if they don't matter? There still are bowl games inside of the college football playoff, but nobody can answer that. So the excuses has to stop. And I just give respect to Arch Mannings and you know what I mean, and Diego Piavas and Bryce Underwoods and those guys who we know that will be that have a chance to be a superstar in this game of football that we love, but they show up in these bowl games and they play. And even if I don't know these guys' names, these starters that play in these bowl games, it matters to them. It matters to the coaches, and I know it does, but largely because of the ratings, they don't matter. Like because you don't get watched a lot, you don't matter. No, that's crazy. That's insane to even think like that. Like that's a whole corporate cop out punk ass excuse. That's what that is. There's no other way to put that besides that. That's all that is. Because let me tell you this. Why do y'all want to make these punk ass excuses about players not being in here? But then I can guarantee you, a coach that'll say a bowl game don't matter is the same coach who talks about how today's society is soft. So how could it don't make sense to me. You want society to be hard. You claim about society being soft, but then you on the side of saying that a bowl game don't matter. Like that shit don't add up. It don't add up to me. It really doesn't. But in the same sense, like now, where was I going with that? Like the SEC has went on a run for 7 years to where they was winning national championships. You know what I'm saying? Now what I can say is that throughout that, and for a couple of those years, I think it was maybe one in between, and that was 2011, that Robert Griffin, from Baylor, Robert Griffin III was a Heisman candidate. But you can go and you can say that they were even the Heisman candidates. Even they were the Heisman candidates out of their, in their divisions. So there was a Heisman candidate coming out of the SEC and the SEC from 2006, which Florida won that. 2007, LSU got that one. 2008, Florida. 2009, Alabama. 2010, Auburn. Cam Newton was the Heisman Trophy winner that year. Of course, Mark Ingram was in 2009. Sam Bradford was in 08. Tim Tebow was in 07. 06, Troy Smith was. Now we jump 2011, Alabama won the national championship. Robert Griffin III was the Heisman Trophy candidate. And then Alabama once again in 2012. But that year, Johnny Manziel was the Heisman winner. Okay, so they went on a run, and that run still hasn't been beat yet. Could y'all harp on something from 2012, which is now easily over 10 years removed? I don't know. So what's the most recent one then? And I'm giving the SEC guys a little bit of an argument here, right? I am. Because I try to, you know what I'm saying, understand from where everybody's at with things, right? And try to look at all angles and all arguments, right? I try not to just be closed man and just say it's going to work this way. Things work this way and that's it. I'm right, you're wrong. No, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Try not to anyway. The latest stretch was from 2019 to 2022, LSU. 2019, Joe Burrow was the Heisman Trophy winner. 2020, Alabama, Devontae Smith, now with the Philadelphia Eagles, the Heisman candidate winner. 2021, Georgia won the national championship. Bryce Young was the Heisman candidate. 2022, Georgia won, but Caleb Williams was the Heisman candidate. And they haven't won a national championship since. But that's a 4-year run. There, because in between time, who was breaking up the runs? Ohio State broke up a run in 2014, of course. That was the year Marcus Mariota won the Heisman Trophy. And then you got 2016 and 2018 where Clemson won, but in between those years, what was it? 2017, Alabama won. In between that time, so you get where I'm going here, like. I mean, even if you don't like the SEC, we know they've been dominant. They always have been, right? But we have to admit that that the NIL and transfer portal has leveled the playing field, and so far it seems as if the Big Ten is doing their job. People say that bowl records don't matter. They do. They do. Because they wouldn't put a bowl game inside of the college football playoff if a game didn't matter. It's not just called the semifinal champion. You know what I'm saying? It's the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Period. That's what it is. It's not the semifinal. It's not. It's the Verbo Fiesta Bowl that Miami just won. So technically, Miami just won 3 bowl games back to back to back. Period. And that's how you have to look at that. And when the athletic director of Miami goes and talks about this with other sponsors and everything, he's going to present that. You know, if it's a sponsor or whatever, you need to sponsor the Miami Hurricanes. We just won 3 bowl games back to back. Period. And if you get the national championship, that's just the icing on the cake. But you think I'm not going to put that on the resume? Are you crazy? What? Yes, you are. Absolutely. A shout out to Ole Miss. No, y'all didn't go to the national championship, Ole Miss, but this is by far y'all best season ever, Ole Miss fans. This is the best season that y'all have had in school history. And y'all won a bowl game. And y'all won a bowl game. That should mean something. Yeah, I'm sure Ole Miss fans is hurt that they didn't go to the national championship. But they ended off 13-2. Y'all got a great nucleus of players. I think that, you know, it sucks that Charlie Weiss is leaving, but Pete Golden, it seems like he's going to be able to do a great job in Ole Miss. I don't think y'all skip a beat if y'all could retain that talent that's on the football field that we seen last night against Miami. If Ole Miss can keep that team, I easily see that team winning the SEC again. Easily. I'm not going to front. They got to reload in some spots. But yeah, that team can compete in the SEC. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that team from Ole Miss can get back into the playoffs. And I'm sure and everybody else out there too. So, you know, I just kind of wanted to look at the, you know, and let people know that because, yeah, they've won bowls. Y'all, they have won bowl games, yo. And that's all I needed. That's all I wanted to say. The national championship is the only game that is not a bowl game. It's the national championship. But every single matchup leading up to the national championship that's presented by AT&T is a bowl game. And that's all I needed to say. But they don't matter. That's insane to keep saying that. Look, what? Oregon just won the Orange Bowl. Oregon won the Orange Bowl. Ole Miss, they got the Sugar Bowl over Georgia. That's huge. I don't care what y'all talking about. That's big. That's big. That's big. That is big. But we cannot sit here and say they don't matter. They do matter, bro. And the Sugar Bowl over Georgia? Picture that. We could take out the national championship. Let's get you looking at the 14 format right now. Just for a second, just take the national championship out of your head for a second. And you telling me the Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl? What are we talking about? Football fans, y'all know what I'm talking about. Even the casuals feel me right now. Like, I don't know what he's really talking about, but I feel where he's coming from. They matter. They do. I don't care what nobody talking about. Like, you can say what you want to say. The Rose Bowl. Oh, what? You think they ain't pull out the roses? Indiana beat Alabama in the Rose Bowl? What are we talking about? What? Man, that's crazy. The Las Vegas Bowl, that, you know what I'm saying? Utah beat Nebraska in that. Like, come on, man. Y'all know the football fans out. Like, I don't care what y'all talking about. These bowls don't matter. They matter. Texas getting the Cheez-Its Bowl, the Citrus Bowl. They won the Citrus Bowl. What are we talking about, bro? They just won the Citrus Bowl. And They're definitely using that. Miami got 3 of them things, bruh. They got the Cotton Bowl. They beat my Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. They just won the Fiesta Bowl. And then what's the last one that I gotta look up so I know? Cotton Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, and they just won the other one too. So I gotta look. Okay, and that was the first round of the playoffs, the college football first round, the first round game. So what? The first round game ain't a bowl game. That's a mistake from them. That's a mistake. Oh yeah, because they're playing that at home. They play that at home, so they don't even name that game. So they give the school one game. That's a mistake, though. If you ask me, that's a mistake about a college football playoff. But other than that, they got a bowl. They won a bowl. They got 2 of them things. 2 of them things. And going to the national championship. Man, that matters. I'm definitely pitching that. I'm from the AD. I'm from the AD athletic director. Yeah, I'm the athletic director of Miami. You know what I'm saying? I'm the athletic director of Miami Hurricanes football athletics. Yes, sir. AT&T. Yeah, man, we're going to come up in here. Hold up. Hold up. What do you mean my players are going to be second? We need to get this done early as possible because my guys need to get in there and they need time to practice. We can't do this in the afternoon. You're not going to treat my Miami Hurricanes as their second place. They just won the Cotton Bowl over Ohio State, and they won a Fiesta Bowl over Ole Miss, a SEC opponent. What are we talking about? Man, what is we talking about, bro? What is we talking about? No, damn well they going to be talking that talk. They matter. Shout out to everybody who won a bowl game. I don't care what it is. Shout out to every team that won a bowl game. The Cure Bowl, the Staff DNA Cure Bowl, the 68 Ventures Bowl, the Xbox Bowl. I don't care what it is. The Gasparilla Bowl, the Myrtle Beach Bowl. All them bowls mean something to them teams. They mean something to them coaches. They mean something to that athletic department. They mean something for that team's revenue. And everything. That's why we need a group of 5 playoff, because now you got the group of 5 champions playing for them a bigger name bowl, like the for instance, it could be the not the Pinstripe or not the Snoop Dogg. I would like the Snoop Dogg Bowl should definitely be in a G5 playoff. That should definitely be a G5 playoff game, the Snoop Dogg Bowl. But the Real Quest Bowl, the Las Vegas Bowl, the Sun Bowl, them all can be in the Power 5 in a group of 5 playoff bracket. The group of 5 playoff bracket can consist of the Sun Bowl, the Las Vegas Bowl, the Real Quest Bowl, and the Citrus Bowl. And you could put those in the group of 5 playoff, and they mean something. Or you could take them and just put them in the first round of the playoff, which I should do, and then just get with the school. But then, you know what I mean? And now, even if that's what y'all want to talk about, how to get ratings and eyes, they don't matter because of ratings, because I never hear a bowl game don't matter. And even when I hear ex-players talk about it, like Cam Newton or something, everybody talk about who's watching it. Nobody watches those games. That's why they don't matter, because nobody watches it. Nobody watches the games. Nobody watches. Y'all watch the games. Shut up. Y'all be watching them goddamn games. How y'all be knowing who playing then? Y'all watch them games. I don't want to hear that. If you love football, you watching the damn game. Or you into it maybe a lot? Probably not. But you damn sure watching it. What is you talking about? Well, I don't understand that. I mean, nobody watches it. The ratings don't matter. Well, that's how you get eyes on it. But anyway, and that's what I wanted to talk about and bring that up, is because, and then I heard another excuse about the SEC. And what was the latest excuse I heard about the SEC? Oh, their players are banged up because they're playing each other and they're knocking each other out. So what? What are we talking about? Every team is banged up when you playing them many games in a season. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's banged up. When you telling me the SEC is the only people who hit? No, they not hitting. No, they not. Because they not hitting like that. Everybody hitting. Everybody's hitting. So, I mean, because the MAC always got a linebacker that's leading the NCAA in tackles for the past 2 seasons. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say the max linebackers, they hit way harder than SEC linebackers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't make sense. Like, what are we talking about? Everybody's banged up, everybody's hurt. But in any way, if you are an SEC team and you are getting the players, your debt is still a 5-star caliber backup. You still got a 5-star. You got a 5-star start, and then you got a 5-star backup, and then you go to the third man in depth on the roster in that position. He's probably a 4-star. You don't start getting the 3 stars on the SEC until you start getting the 4th man in that position on down. You know what I'm talking about? So what is we talking about? So now it's in this, like, man, every excuse that I hear is lame. It has nothing to do with football. It has absolutely nothing to do with football. It has everything to do with everything that has to do with people watching it, ratings, and everything else. But when it comes down to football talk, it don't matter. And I support them, and I talk about it. I can't support them on this. Y'all getting y'all ass whooped in these bowl games, SEC. Y'all need to step up. You can't keep talking about and trying to dictate rules in college football and say you the best and everything else. And every time one of your teams show up in these games, they getting their ass whooped. And it's that these traditional teams. You can't be stepping up to the plate talking about I was only going to score 7 points. All you got to be is score 14 to beat them, and then they turn around and hang 34 on your ass and whoop your ass. That can't happen. You can't keep saying these things about other conferences, and y'all bowl record ain't there. Now, granted that y'all only playing group of 5. Power teams. The SEC has only played power teams in the bowls. They have not played a group of 5 or, you know what I'm saying, or anything less. They have not. They only played power teams in their bowls. I grant that, but y'all supposed to win those games, and that's what makes people think if they took this cupcake out of the schedule and y'all played a mid-tier ACC team or a mid-tier Big 12 game, y'all think y'all probably would lose that game. People looking at that and they saying, well, yeah, they got to play that cupcake because it looks good on their record. It's another win. It's hard to defend that part of the argument with the SEC when you get into this game that means something, that should mean something, but y'all just keep using it for a cop-out. When they don't win, it's a cop-out. But when they put belt to ass like Texas did Michigan, it matters. It don't make sense. You can't have it both sides of the coin. But then when you play, when there's other teams like Indiana putting belt to ass to Alabama, Alabama's team wasn't that good all year or whatever else. No, we can't play that. But this is where a lot of people come from when they're talking about the cupcake game. That cupcake game that's on the SEC schedule, it's hard to argue that point now because y'all not winning in the college football playoff, and there's still bowl games inside of those, by the way. I might add that again. There's still bowl games inside of the college football playoffs. Once again, there still are bowl games inside of the college football playoffs. But anyway, like I was saying, so we go back and you looking at that, it's hard to argue that cupcake. So if just for instance, now, Georgia, instead of playing and whooping out, they bump into Baylor. They take Citadel off and they play Baylor. Or Alabama don't play who else? I don't know, Samford or the Maine Bears, the Maine Black Bears, or the East Coast Barracudas. You know what I mean? I don't even know who they be playing sometimes. It just be teams, bro. Like, instead of playing them, you go play at NC State or Boston College. You know what I'm saying? Like, we even go low, Boston College or Maryland. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all might lose it. Like, that's the people sitting there thinking like they might lose that game if they took on those teams. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to sit there and argue that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to argue that y'all probably wouldn't lose that game because y'all getting in these games and y'all losing. It's not like y'all going undefeated. Now, y'all only playing power teams, but it's not like y'all went undefeated. But y'all supposed to be the best. But it's just a cop-out. It's a cop-out to say these games don't matter, fans. It is. It's a cop-out. It's disrespectful to a lot of players. It's disrespectful to players to even sit here and say that that a game, that a football game don't matter. It's disrespectful to say that. You ain't getting no. It's not like you getting cupcakes. You're getting, you using that on your resume. It means a lot. It's not just, for it's a giggles. You know what I'm saying? It's not even like, you know what I'm saying? You see what happened when Florida played USF. That's a good group of 5 team. You know what I'm saying? They ain't playing the Tulanes and the North Texases and the San Diego States, the Boise States. You know what I'm saying? They got all over Oregon for not blowing them out. But yeah, they playing the tough conference G5 programs. They ain't playing them weak ones. You know what I'm saying? Y'all playing, y'all ain't even going to the 8. They going way out. It's not like y'all playing South Dakota State, North Dakota State. They ain't even playing them. They playing the guys who are in last place in those conferences. Like, that's crazy. Y'all playing last. They playing at last place FCS opponents, and it's getting hard for me to defend because, yes, y'all bowl record is trash. SEC, it's trash. And y'all gotta win, because if not, it just becomes harder and harder to defend when y'all don't play a mid-tier team in the season. I named what North Carolina, NC State, they 8-5, or Cal, or, you know what I'm saying, Clemson. Like, yeah, they play Clemson. Shout out to Bama, and they be playing Clemson. But, like, you know what I mean, those mid-tier games, like, you know what I mean, can't even be a Virginia Tech. You know what I'm saying, a Virginia. Y'all know y'all will get y'all ass whooped if y'all took that cupcake out that game and played them. Because I don't get where the argument is when we saying that it's not competitive. Because it got to be competitive for a team like, if you're in the ACC, it got to be competitive. They weren't consistent at all this year in football play, but all those teams, like, you didn't know who was going to win that. At one point, Georgia Tech was at the top. Georgia Tech was supposed to be the top team at one point, but who won the championship? Duke won the ACC championship. They beat a Virginia team that was on fire. SMU beat a team that's going to the national championship right now. Pitt was balling out. You thought Pitt was on fire. They was going somewhere too with it. Like, the ACC is tough too. We ain't gonna sit here and act like, and they did beat up on each other a lot. Look at the conference games. You got people. Clemson was 4-4. Cal was 4-4. NC State was 4-4. Duke was 6-2. They beat up on each other in the conference. They damn sure did. There was a lot of good play. But we're gonna sit there and say that they didn't play, that they didn't go through it. Come on, bro. We're not going there, bro. We're not playing that. We're not going to play that. We're not going to sit here and say because they playing each other or whatever, that's an excuse of what's going on. Yes, the first round of the playoffs, you had SEC matchups. Yes, you did. You had SEC matchups. But you see what happened when they are playing out. Anytime they go outside and they play, did I see a SEC team beat a different team inside of the college football playoff yet this year? And I don't want to just talk. I want to look at. I got to look at the thing, because that's crazy to me. Because I don't even know. Just right off top, like, they might have beat up on each other, but anytime they faced anybody else outside of the SEC, they lost. Inside, like, so we're not getting nowhere with it. There's nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. That's just crazy to me. That's crazy to say that, but I know. But we gonna Yeah, I got passionate because that's just crazy to me. There's so many excuses around why this and why that. Like, I don't hear no other conferences come up with so many damn prima donna diva ass excuses besides the team that's supposed to have the best recruits. They do get the best recruits in college football. They got a lot of great facilities, but yet you hear the most excuses coming from out of that conference when it comes down to the game of football, which is crazy to me. That's insane. Insane. It is. Anyway, I got to look at the college football playoff bracket, man, real quick before we get on out of here, man, because I want to make sure that what I just said was on point, because just far as I can remember, I do think that they have not beaten a team. Like, when they had the chance to play somebody else outside of the SEC, they lost, folded, boom, bam, didn't get through. So y'all could take the cupcake off the schedule, put a mid-tier power team on there. Why not? Because the bowl games don't matter to y'all, so why not do it? Why not? That game is damn sure gonna mean something. We never will have our barometer, because these games, they mean something, though. They do. I'm just saying that for the guys that want to keep saying that, but whatever. So we go look at the playoff bracket. So I could see the bracket and I could actually look at it and visualize this, because what I said, I'm like, man, hold up, that can't be, bro. The Chick-fil-A Bowl. Okay, so we want to look at the first round playoff. First round, anytime SEC play outside of the SEC that they win, you know what I'm saying? Tulane, they played Tulane. Oh, shout out to Ole Miss. They did beat Tulane 41-10. Took care of business earlier in the year. That was another rematch. Shout out there. So they did beat them. So that's the bunk. So regardless of what I just said, that's what it is. Technically, they beat Tulane, a G5 team. They beat them, and they were in the playoffs. So that's not right. That's not right. So when they did play anybody else outside of the SEC, they won. Yeah, they beat Tulane, a G5, a good G5, but they beat them in the playoffs. So I give that to them. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's where they want to go with it. You know what I'm saying? But technically, so technically, even if it was by an SEC team, there were SEC teams that were one and done. And yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. But any team, any power team that they have played outside of the SEC, they lost. There's no wins. And you can't keep saying that you are superior over everybody when every chance that you're getting to show that you're above in the best conference in these bowl games. Your bowl record sucks. Your bowl record sucks. You don't have a winning bowl record. No. So you can't say that you're the best. At best, you're 50-50 split with a different conference. At best. And honestly, the Big Ten got the best bowl game record right now. So you got to either say they're best. And right now, Miami is taking them out. So y'all, at best, y'all are not the best talented right now no more. You can't hold that title until you show it. It's one thing to just talk about it. It's one thing to just have that. But when it's time to prove it, you ain't showing up. It ain't happening. She laid out on the bed, butt naked. You run in there and you got a soft one. Better what is we talking about, cuz? What is, man, like that, if that make y'all understand it better. If that made y'all understand it. Like, what are we talking about, cuz? I ain't about to go up in there, man. But y'all know how I give it up, man. I've been on this thing for, you know what I'm saying, almost an hour, talking about it, giving it, letting y'all know how I feel about the college football playoffs and the everything else. And I do want to say shout out to the remainder guys. Shout out to Miami getting that dub. The game coming on tonight. I think Indiana had a wonderful run. I do. I think Indiana had a great run. I think I'm rolling with Oregon to go all the way, man. All the way. I'm rolling with Oregon to go take this thing all the way home. I think it's time for Dan Lannon to get his. Earn his respect. I feel like Signetti, he done a fantastic job. I'm not counting out Indiana in this game. I've already went with Oregon when I did my very first bracket. When I went all the way back, I thought that Oregon would sweep through. And I thought that, and I predicted this game, not what happened against Oregon and Indiana. And I'm still rolling with Oregon, man. I'm rolling with Oregon to go all the way through. And I did say that. And I don't know how I didn't pick Miami, because my dumb butt sat there and said that Miami and Oregon had the best two offenses in the college football playoff. But for some reason, I didn't roll with Miami until last night. But I definitely roll with Oregon. So, yeah, I think Oregon gets the dub tonight, man. Y'all know how I give it up, man. Pray for yourself. Pray for each other. Pray for me. I'm always praying for y'all that get down in the comments, man. Hey, get down in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel, man. Get the conversation going, man. Make me want to hit that live button. You heard me? Peace, y'all. I'm out of here. Y'all know.